Yes, it's Monday, and by now everyone in the world, and I mean from the Bangles who sung Manic Monday to the Boomtown Rat who tell me why I don't like Mondays. Well, I'm going to give you a reason to like Mondays, and it's this reason. It's time to talk about ghosts with Kevin Eustace. Hi. I was going to say Sir Kevin Eustace then, but I thought, ugh, I hate it when people do that, but I do it all the time. But you know, when people go like, Lords, many might have got him by and bow and all that. And I do it all the time, yet I hate it. There's the quandary. How are you all doing? I hope you're all doing fantastically well, as is the podcaster's mantra. As we've said before, when they say it, they don't mean it. When I say it, I mean it. I'm joking. They mean it too. I'm just being a bit of an arse. I do hope you're all well, though, and you've had a fantastic week. Obviously, we've got all the normal stuff today. We're going to sing to Patreon. Hooray! We're going to review something we've never reviewed before. I know that's the point, but I mean in terms of format. And it was a suggestion of none other than the greatest admin person in the admin, like he works for me. He does it out of the goodness of his fucking heart because he's a good egg. Matt, Facebook moderator Matt, hooray! It was his suggestion because he got in touch and went, "Have you seen this?" I said no. And then I watched it and went, wow. And he went, "Why don't you do that?" And I went, "I will." So that was that conversation. And then we're going to, of course, tell your true paranormal experiences. And then at the end, we're going to take a visit over to the corner, which is owned by Becca, and read something not from Reddit. What? I know. Some of the patrons are like, we know where this is going. But because what we done, right, everyone may as well know this part. Because Becca's schedule, because she's back at work, is all over the shop. I'm catching her when I can to do like Reddit corners and Patreon episodes and stuff. So we done today the thing you'll hear at the end of today's episode, the Reddit corner, about a certain thing, and then decided to do a Patreon episode about the same thing. But that Patreon episode went out yesterday, and within it, I say, as you'll have heard on today's Reddit corner, without realizing that that's today. And I haven't even spoken those words yet. I'm speaking these words live on a Monday. I don't pre-record Wintag, generally speaking. So, yeah. So ignore that confusion. It will all become clear at the end of the day or the episode. But I do hope you're all fantastically well. Anyway, let's say a thank you to our Patreons. Oh, that was a strange noise, wasn't it? Oh, just before I turn into a monkey. No, I do need just to let you all know that we are going to be taking a 2-week break from the show. Okay? Now, you'll have noticed that there's, we put these in, I've now started to put these in seasons. There's no fucking, it's like 20 episodes a season. It's just when I think, I may as well change it to season 4. And we do no announcements or anything like that. We're currently in season 3, not that anyone knows, even I don't even know what episode number we're up to. But basically, we're going away for 2 weeks. And for those 2 weeks, we're going to have a break from the show. Okay? I'm sure you'll all allow us to do that. There's quite a lot going on in both personally and both professionally. And you know what? Sometimes you just need a break, don't you? And I think you guys sometimes need a break from me. Do you know what I mean? I was tempted. What I'll probably do is I'll see if I can try and, what I was going to say, how I was saying, I'll look back through older episodes, which are now deleted. I might try and string a few of them together just to put out once during the 2-week period. So there's at least something there. But if I don't get round to it, it'll just be 2 weeks of blankness. Okay. And then we'll come back for season 4. Yes. So I'm sorry if you're going to miss us for those 2 weeks. It's the end of August. So, there's a bank holiday and all that. So you should still have some fun. But yeah, sometimes in life, you just got to take a break. Do you know what I mean? And say, I don't need to add that to my worries. I'm going to say worries. You know what I mean? In general speak, I mean, it's not a worry. I don't lie awake at night going, oh my fucking God, because the neighbours would complain due to the noise. Anyway, let's say a big thank you to our Patreons. When you head over to Patreon, what do you get? That's what you're all wanting to know. Well, I'll tell you what you get. You get more of this sort of waffle. Genuinely, you get waffle. There's literally a Patreon show called A Ramble that comes out every Wednesday. That's me doing this, but on certain topics. And then on a Sunday we try to have, a paranormal Patreon, where generally I'm joined by Becca, and we discuss something paranormal for about half an hour. Yeah. So you get 2 shows each and every week. Yes, an hour's worth of content a week. What? And genuinely, there's around 300 plus hours worth of stuff over there. So if you like the show, and I appreciate it's Marmite, but I don't care. You know, those who like it, really like it. Those who don't, really don't. And that's evident in the reviews. So if anyone does want to leave a nice review, please feel free. Please do, in fact. But yeah, so that's what you get. And you also get your name sung out via the medium of song, because how else would you sing something? But I also play the guitar, as I'm about to do right now for these wonderful new Patreons. The guitar is well and truly out, as that sound proves. And it's live. See what I mean? You know, I don't just... People assume... Well, one person emailed in and said, do you record the guitar track and sing over? It was like, no. 1, I don't have the time. And 2, no. Anyway, we have 3 wonderful new Patreons. Well, we've got 2 wonderful new Patreons, and we have a Patreon who we need to say a re-shout-out for. So, our new Patreons are Fawn and May and Peter. And a re-shout-out goes out to someone whose name is, well, it's not a name, it's a website, pacmanimpactsite.info. Now, this gentleman has a theory about something which crashed into Earth many years ago on that website. So if you want to check that out, feel free to go to. I somehow have to try and fit that into a song. But no worries. That's what country's for. Here we go. Fawn and May. Sign up to Patreon today. Well, it wasn't today, it was through the week, but that don't matter to me. Then we got good Peter. Well, I hope he's good anyway. He's signed up too, and I want to say thank you. And we got Pac-Man Impact Site Info. Sorry, Pac-Man Impact Site.info. That's where you go if you want to know a theory about an impact long ago. But all together, I'd like to say thank you. Ooh, 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 it's a longer song than I usually do, but I've had 5 coffees. And it's on a G7, but we are on the 3rd capo. So a big thank you to Fauna May, to Peter, and to pacmanimpactsite.info. So there you go. Anyway, now we've got all of that out of the way, shall we have a paranormal review? I think we shall. Yes, it's time to review the paranormal, or well, something within the realm of the paranormal, so that you don't have to review it for yourself, you see, because that would be utter madness. Before I do that, though, I'd just like to say I was honoured to be a guest on Paul Bestall's Mystery and Monsters, and I do genuinely mean honoured, because if you listen to Paul's show, and don't get me wrong, it's not the exact opposite of this type of show, but it's academic. Is that the right word? Academic? The irony of wondering if academic means it's educational. I don't know. Anyway, it's very educational. It's very well put together. And I was surprised to be asked to do it. Because although I know my shit, I do believe in the world of the paranormal. He normally has on and this week we'll be speaking with Harvard parapsychologist Jeffrey Taylor. And then I come on going... Anyway... Go and check it out. Give it a listen. Obviously, Paul's amazing. And we had a great chat. We went on for like 3 hours. Here's a funny story, which isn't that funny, really. I said to Becca, she went out to see a mate. She went out to do some charity work, which makes it even worse. And I said, don't forget, I'm recording with Paul tonight. So when you come in, be extra quiet. And she went, okay. So me and Paul start about maybe, 8 o'clock, 8:30. And as you do, when you like the person you're talking to, you share similar, hobbies and interests. We just gabbed and gabbed and gabbed. And it gets to about 11:30 and we end the call. And Paul, God bless him, has to edit that down into like an hour. And I come downstairs and Becca sat on the floor crying. And she's crying because she sprained her ankle and has been crawling around on her bum downstairs because she didn't want to make any noise. I was like, fucking hell. What? Anyone hearing that makes it sound like I'm like, right, I'm going to beat you up. I said, I might have been on a call. She was like, yeah, but it was someone else's podcast. And, you know, I didn't want to interrupt or make a scene or blah, blah, blah. I went, Becca, I can say, can you pause it a sec? My partner seems to be dying downstairs. So, yeah, funny, but not funny. Anyway, go and give it a listen. Audio-wise, I don't sound great. It must have been something on my end. I sound like I'm talking into the toilet, in all honesty, and I'm quite hard to understand. But if you can bear with it, it is, I think it's understandable, but I think that might be because I understand me, if that makes sense. But either way, go and check it out. We had a great chat. It was an honor. It was a privilege. He's a gentleman, a scholar, and dare I say, acrobat. That's not the paranormal review, by the way. That was just an addendum, if you will. The paranormal review for this week was suggested by Matt. Hello, Matt. And he sent me a link. So basically what we're going to review this week is a trailer, because excitement beyond excitement for me personally. There is the next installment in the canon of the Exorcist film series, which is due for release on what date, you may ask? The 13th of October. Well, what day of the week is that, Kevin? It's Friday the 13th of October, due for release, Exorcist Believer. And it looks... Now, I've rewatched it about 1 million times, this trailer. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. Put in Exorcist Believer trailer, and you can watch what I'm about to talk about. So you're going to spend, you know, normally when I do a review, it's like about a book or a film or a podcast, you know, something you've really got to invest in. You don't with this. I mean, if you're on the bus listening to this, pause it, watch it, come back, you know, you'd be done in 5 minutes. But I think it's great. I think it looks great. I'm always a bit dubious when someone starts messing around with franchises and stuff. I'm like, oh, are you going to just ruin it? I don't know. But it looks good. It's one of these, when I first watched it, it was like, right. And I had to let it digest. And then I rewatched it and I was like, okay. And then I rewatched it and was like, I'm into this. So, I mean, you can see it. And this is not a spoiler because it's a trailer. So, you know, anyone can watch it. And no one's seen the film yet. Well, I'm sure people with them dodgy boxes might have. Anyway, and if anyone knows how to get hold... Anyways, joking, police and FBI, if you're listening. Semi-joking, police and FBI. Anyway, so in the trailer, it appears that what happens is 2 girls go missing, right? This is the premise for the film. They go missing. They think they've been gone 3 hours or something, and they've been gone 3 days, right? And it looks like these 2 girls have been possessed in the woods. And not only, this is also just taken from the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. Not only have they been possessed in the woods, it would appear that they've been possessed by none other than the demon that infested Reagan herself, Pazuzu. Because it's in the same universe, which I think's marvelous. I've always said, I love it when a film does this. You know, like, I think, they've done it with Ghostbusters, you know, the Paul Rudd Ghostbusters, Afterlife. When they keep it in the same universe, you know, I seen the other day they've remade White Men Can't Jump, and I was mortified because it's a classic. And to me, because I'm 44, it's like, it feels like it came out yesterday, but anyway. But, as in, like, you know, I think it's much more interesting, and I think they've done it recently with The Flash as well, when they go and Michael Keaton's Batman in one of the universes. But, you know, keep a film, if you're going to release a film now, keep the characters and the cast from the first film 30 years ago, because in that universe they'd have aged. So it's all realism, do you know what I mean? So anyway, within this trailer, it becomes evident that they get Reagan's mum involved. Like, and it's actually, I don't know the actress's name, but she's in it. And they're like, we know you have a history with this sort of thing. And she's like, I do. I know more than I want, or something like that. And she goes into this, there's a scene in the trailer where there's one girl in hospital and Reagan's mother comes in and she goes, I've met you before, the mother says. And clearly what is Pazuzu looks and goes, mother, and then starts thrashing about on the bed. Now, tell me if I'm right or wrong on this when you watch the trailer. I'm convinced what they've done as she's thrashing about on the bed, screaming for help from her mother. I think that's genuinely Reagan's voice. I think they've took it from the original Exorcist and put it in there. And if so, that's amazing. I love that. So yeah, I'm really excited about this film, as you can tell. There's one part of it where I'm like, I don't think that's logistically or theoretically possible. And it's a scene where one of the possessed girls walks into a church during a state of possession. And I don't think that would be possible. And I was discussing this with Matt, and I was saying to Matt, they should have done that, in my opinion, a bit more subtly. Like maybe she should have went up and received communion and then spat it into her hand without anyone looking, because it was burning her mouth, or, something like that. It didn't have to be, it was a little bit too for TV, but it looks like it's got a great cast in it. It really does. And yeah, I'm excited for it. So Friday the 13th. So anyway, as you know, each Halloween I get to choose a film to watch, and it's been chosen. And it's Exorcist Believer. And it turns out, because I Googled it, as you do, and it's the first of a trilogy of new Exorcist films. So this is Believer. In 2025, we have Deceiver. And then there's another one a few years later. But that's TBC. But it's exciting. I'm very excited by it. As well, if you've watched... Do you know what you should do, actually? Watch the trailer for the original Exorcist, then watch this trailer. Because they've really... It looks like they've really tried to utilize some of the same techniques. So there's like a clip just randomly of two dogs fighting, which just... That, by the way, is slang also for where I'm from. I'm from Huyton in Liverpool, but in Liverpool it's known as two dogs. Yeah, two dogs fighting. And the old rhyme went, Huyton, two dogs fighting, one a black and one a whiting. There you go. Some folklore for you there. Or history. It's not neither. But anyway, but I think it's good. I think it's done very well. So I'm excited. I have to say, I dipped in and out. I was like, is it good? Is it bad? Is it good? Is it bad? I've landed on the side of it's good. I'm excited. It's 2 thumbs up to the sky. Go check it out. And it's only the trailer. God, I hope the film stands up to the trailer. I really do. And I'm sure you do too. Anyway, Exorcist trailer review. 2 thumbs up to the bloody sky. Yes, it's time for my favourite part of the week. And yes, I say it every week, but it is indeed the truth. Anyway, we're going to talk about your true paranormal experiences. I don't know why it's turned slightly farmerish then. But firstly, we've had an email from Sharona. And she says, yes, like the song. Everybody join in. If you're not joining in, then you're not having fun. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got a guitar there. No, I'm not going to. Anyway, she writes, hi, Kev. Hi. Just thought I'd send a quick email in response to a comment made in response to the Reddit post in today's episode. And this is from a while back. Someone mentioned a woman's head with long hair and entrails. Yes, you'll remember. It was from Reddit Corner. And we were talking about Asian ghosts. And apparently on Reddit, somebody had said there was a head with entrails up a tree or something. Anyway, someone mentioned a woman's head with long hair and entrails. Told you. And a great debate, TM, ensued. And actually, as much as I hate to say it, Becca was right. Damn. They did mean just a head with internal organs attached at the neck. What? Really? Like a fucking jellyfish with a head. Anyway. Because Asian folklore is terrifying and doesn't give a lick... and doesn't have to make a lick of sense. Fair enough. For further reference, check out the Kirus. Krasue. Krasu. The Kuyang. Kuyang. Or the Pengal. Penangal. All examples of that particular Southeastern Asian horror. I figured since I had to be aware of them, you should be too. Well, fair enough. Sending love to you, thank you, to Becca, thank you, and to the neighbour's cat from central Pennsylvania. Sharona. Yep, like the song. No, thank you, Sharona. I didn't know that. Clearly, that's why I'm saying it. But yeah, what a fucking... I'm going to have to look into it, because now my next thought is, how does it move? You know, does it move like it's walking and its internal organs? Or is it like the head, like biting its way along the road with its organs dragging behind? Well, if it's not the second one, I've just made that scarier. So if you're listening, whoever's going to make a film about this, that's how it should move, by biting its way along the road. Anyway, we've had an email in from one of our listeners called Lisa, and she has sent a plethora, and I love the word plethora, of paranormal purveyance for us to ponder. So what we're going to do is we're going to read the first one today, and next week we're going to revisit the email sent in by Lisa. And Lisa writes, "Hello, Kevin. Hi, Becca. Hi. Fucking hell. And the neighbour's cat, and in brackets, your real name is prettier. Ah, someone must be a Patreon and found out the deep, dark secrets of the neighbour's cat. My name is Lisa, and I'm writing to you from the US. Hello. I first found the dark paranormal and was hooked. Thank you. And through that, I found we need to talk about ghosts and love it just as much. Thank you. You're amongst a very, very few number of people. I don't know if you want to include my stories on your shows. I do. But I felt like I should at least tell you about some of my experiences. Ooh. I'm not sure if I've always had experiences or if they started around 12 or 13 years old due to a Ouija board experience gone wrong. I have had/seen so many weird things that I don't even flinch anymore. I used to think that maybe something has been attached to me and followed me everywhere since that night with the Ouija board. So, if you have the time, I want to share 3 stories that stick out the most to me. I think... do you have my stomach then? I haven't eaten today. Sorry about that. I think you will like all 3, but the first especially because it has to do with a movie I watched, I believe on Netflix. I know how you like to do a paranormal review on Wintag, so maybe you will have seen the movie I will reference in my story. If not, you should watch it. I think you'll love it. Well, thank you, Lisa. We'll find out. We'll all find out together whether I've watched it or not. And then maybe we'll all watch it together. Not literally, because that would be impossible. Anyway, this is Lisa's first story. I always love to watch horror movies, and since my husband does not, I usually watch these kinds of movies by myself with my headphones on, whilst he plays video games with his headphones on. This was one Friday night, I'd say around 2016, 2017. I found this movie, and it was called The Belief, on Netflix or Hulu, I'm not sure. I decided to just watch it, without reading what it was about. All I did see was that it was a horror movie, and was based on a true story, and I love those sort the most. It wasn't until I was really into it that I realised it was a movie about a woman called Janet Moses who becomes possessed. I really don't like watching possession movies because that really scares me the most, because I believe they can happen. Anyway, I was with my headphones on, watching alone, and I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but for my story, I have to say this part. There's a part in the movie where Janet and her family are all asleep in the middle of the night, and the movie is all quiet, when all of a sudden, Janet, who is seemingly possessed, wakes the whole house up with a crazy scream. Now, with my headphones on, and not expecting that to happen, it scared me to death, and I totally jumped. Fast forward to now, I finished the movie, and the movie, by the way, was really, really good, and really scary, and unbelievable in a kind of twist way. I ended up telling my husband what happened in it. I ended up telling my husband what happened in the movie, just the basics, and that it was based on a true story. I didn't tell him the specific parts in the movie. After that, I decided to go to bed, and he stayed up after me playing video games, or watching YouTube. He must have went to bed about an hour or so later because I was sound asleep when I was scared awake by my husband screaming like a crazy person. I tried to ask him, "Hey, what are you doing? What's wrong?" When I realised he was still asleep whilst screaming. I tried to shake him awake, but he didn't wake up, and instead rolled over, stopped screaming, and stayed asleep. I looked at the clock, and it was either 2:30 or 3:30. I really can't remember. I was totally scared, with my heart racing. I remembered that scene I've just told you about in the movie, and it scared me even more to think that he didn't know about that scene. Then my thoughts raced to what if the movie and the TV were like some kind of portal I'd opened up unknowingly whilst watching. It was, after all, based on a true story. In the morning, I asked him what happened last night. He had no idea or recollection of screaming at all. Just really weird. After that experience, I make sure to read what the movie is about, and I stay away from possession movies, even fictional ones. On that note, I still think you should try and find it to watch. It had a twist in and all sorts. It really is more than just a possession movie, but I don't want to spoil it for you. But I can't see how you wouldn't like this movie since you like watching these type of things. I know you say on The Dark Paranormal that if you look closely at the dark, it will look back at you. And I can't help but think this could have happened to me that night. Wow, thank you, Lisa. That's an amazing story, and I can't wait to read the remainder of your email next week. Fantastic, though. And yes, I do say on The Dark Paranormal, I mean, The Dark Paranormal is more dramatic and all that carry on, but I do believe that, I do believe that the more that you look into these things, the more chance they've got of looking back. Now, interestingly, when I stated that on The Dark Paranormal, I stated it because a lot of people, genuinely, this isn't bullshit in any way, shape or form. If anyone requires proof, I have it there, have emailed in to say, there's about 6 ones which are genuinely where I'm like, fucking hell, it's a bit weird. Where they're like, I was listening to the show, The Dark Paranormal, and this happened. Or I was listening to this episode and this happened. And I made the statement, maybe there is, we know nothing about the world of the paranormal. We don't. As much as I love it and I love discussing it, and clearly you guys enjoy it too, obviously, none of us know how it works, And there is, I didn't invent the saying, if you look into the darkness, it looks back. That's someone much more famous and better equipped mentally than I. But, there is a chance that's the case. And I read some of these emails out on the show to say, I was listening to the show and this happened or that happened or whatever. And I then said, maybe it could be. So let me know if you've had any, if it's happened to anyone else, as an episode randomly started just after you've heard a noise or something. Could there be something going on? We don't know. We just don't know. Anyway, then some guy got in touch with me and said, listen, I'm all for ghost stories. I really enjoyed the podcast up to this point, but I'm not going to listen anymore because I refuse to take part in your paranormal experiment. I think it's very dangerous for you to try and suggest that we are opening a portal to the other side. I did not sign up for this. And when you're thinking, hold on, I'm reading out stuff that's been sent in, which is kind of the point of an interactive podcast between host and listener. Anyway, and at no point did I suggest, and now what I'd like you all to do is focus on the numbers 666 and recount the following at midnight. None of this happened, so. But yeah, who knows? I do think, what? My old mum, as in past, and not as in, well, she's dead, but when she was alive, obviously, she used to say, if you want to see a ghost, you'll see a ghost. And because she passed when I was so young, then I started doing podcasting and stuff, obviously much later on. I never got the chance to ask her what she meant by that. I think when she said it at the time, I was maybe about 9, because I was really into it then, obviously. And so was she. And I think I kind of just nodded and was like, yes, I understand. Like faux childhood, pretend to know. But I'd love to know what she means. I think it's one of two things. She either means what we're saying here, like as in, if if you look into the darkness, it'll look back. Or she means if you think you're going to see a ghost, you'll see one where there isn't one. Do you know what I mean? So she was either being an ultra believer or kind of skeptical, and I'll never know which. Well, I'll know one day, but hopefully many years in the future. Anyway, before this gets a bit weird, let's go and visit Becca in Becca's Reddit Corner. Or is it Reddit Corner? Let's find out together.
Ladies and gentlemen, now it is time for Paranormal Reddit Corner with Becca.
So it's that time of the week again where I dare to be so brave to open the door, head down into the basement, we don't have a basement, and go into the corner, the dark, dingy, yet beautiful and aromatic corner, which is owned by none other than...
Me.
Hooray, Becca! How are you?
I'm okay, how are you?
I'm okay. Not much sleep today.
You need to start going to bed earlier.
I do, but there's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah, but sleep isn't where you can completely cut back.
It is. It turns out.
It's not. It's really bad for your health, not sleeping, like getting at such a minimal amount of hours as you do.
I know.
Like really bad for your health.
So I believe.
Very high link with dementia.
You know what? Funny you couldn't think of a witty comeback then. There you go. The first signs.
Yeah, lack of sleep, that'll do it.
Yeah. I was up about 10 to 6 this morning. I went to bed about 2:30. And
It's not enough sleep.
Anyway, and I witnessed like a full-on display of cat affection between our cat and, or should I say, the neighbour's cat and the neighbour's cat. Because it was raining outside and the actual neighbour's cat was outside meowing to be let in to his home. And the neighbour's cat, our neighbour's cat, was kind of looking at the other neighbour's cat, like going, meow, as in to say, let him in.
I don't think you saw affection necessarily.
I did.
Because she doesn't like other cats.
I know, but normally she's like, I'm going to rip your throat out, I'm going to sell it to people, and whereas this was much more like, oh.
Yeah, she is normally a proper little terrorizer with them. But yeah, maybe she felt bad for him. But I don't think she wanted him in here still.
Yeah, I think you're arguably right there. Well, not even arguably. You are right. So, before we go into Becca's Reddit Corner, we've received an email, a very small email.
Right.
But it's fascinating just our, when I say our sway in America, sorry, even better.
It's fascinating that you'd say that sentence out loud.
Exactly, yeah. I didn't even mean America as well. That's the proof. I meant Australia. So, our sway in Australia, which is even funnier. So, basically, we've had like 3 people get in touch and say, I'm from Australia. Anyway, we've had someone else do it too.
Okay.
And they've said, hi, Kevin Beck. Love your podcast. You make us feel like a friend even though we haven't met. You're a great reader and a funny man. It's me. Doesn't mention you at all, other than to say hello. Keep up the good work. Always hanging out for the next episode. All the best, Ron from Melbourne, Australia. There you go. Yet another Aussie.
Why have you brought that to Becca's Reddit Corner just to say they haven't mentioned you?
Because...
Why would you do that? Why don't you do this on your own time?
Because, I remembered it was from Australia. I thought, another one. God, we're getting quite a few. And 2, I did think it mentioned you because I'd seen Kevin Beck. But then, only through reading it then, did I realise it was just in the introduction.
I don't think you did. I think you're just like flicking your hair back like, look, another email I've got.
No, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I would, but I wouldn't do that.
Well, you would and did.
Well, it turns out, yeah. I mean, anyway.
And you literally said, that's me. It doesn't mention you, so...
Yeah, I did take some pride in that, didn't I? Yeah. Oh, shame on me. Anyway, this is the story I'd like you to read today from Reddit. What?
Actually.
What?
Da, da, da.
What are you playing?
We're going to take a minor little detour.
What?
On Reddit Corner.
On a genuine note, what's going on?
So, for whatever reason, and I don't know, I must have clicked on something a while ago, I get frequent, not ads, I suppose they are ads, like links show up on my social media feeds for a different corner of the internet, similar to Reddit,
right?
But called Mumsnet, which I'm sure a lot of people will have heard of. I'm not part of it. Apparently, it can get a little bit toxic, from what I hear.
Yeah.
But I frequently get articles popping up.
Why?
I don't know. I must have clicked on something.
You got a child I don't know about or something?
Yes, I do, and I've done remarkably well for the past 11 years.
Is it under the stairs? Is that why the cat keeps wanting to go under the stairs?
Yeah. Anyway, There was a post on there that caught my attention, so I did click on it, so now I'm going to get more of them. And the title of it is A Bit of Woo for a Monday Morning. I'm a bit freaked out.
Is it from Ric Flair?
Yeah, he's on Mumsnet.
What? This is insane.
Frequent
I can't wait
poster.
to hear this. Only joking. And this is from today.
A couple of days ago, this week.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this week. And, unlike you, I did read it before bringing it. I didn't base it solely on the title. And I just thought I don't know, I thought you might like it. It's not like some kind of dark and dramatic story, but I just thought you might like it as a, because this is true. This is someone sat in the house, like, right now in England this week. Like,
okay, so this is Becca's mum's neck corner.
Yeah, I don't want to call it that, but I know it's a detour.
It is anyway.
It's Reddit, Becca's Reddit corner on tour.
Okay, in mum's net.
Yes.
Okay.
Becca's Reddit corner does Mumsnet.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. So the title, again, is A Bit of Woo for a Monday Morning, in brackets, I'm a bit freaked out.
Okay.
Took the dog for a walk this morning, husband's at work, there's no one else in the house.
Mm-hmm.
When I got back an hour later, first thing I noticed is the thick, heavy doormat is upside down, but in its usual place. How? Then to make it even weirder, the doormat from the back door is in the kitchen rather than the boot room where it should be. There's nobody in the house, and the doors are locked. So I presume by the boot room, there must be like a little annex where there's a sink or whatever.
Yeah,
in between there,
and people scrape the boots.
Yeah. There's been a few weird things happen in this house, but this is up there, along with the time I left the living room, nobody in there, and then couldn't get back in as the side table was in front of the door, blocking it from opening.
What?
Any logical explanations? Welcome. I appreciate the majority of you don't believe in woo. I don't really myself, but I'm struggling a bit now.
That's interesting. I don't believe in it, but I'm struggling to rationalise this.
Yeah. Someone said maybe your husband came back for something. Who else has keys? She said he won't come back, and if he did, he wouldn't mess with the doormat. But I will text him and ask, and nobody else has a key. So a few people have kind of mentioned things. So someone said if the doors were locked, then whatever moved the mats is still in the house. Do you have a loft? Which is
my god, that's your biggest fear, isn't it? Like a Frogger.
That's a petrifying thing to say, I think. Like, seriously, someone said, like, that's not the response you want to get, is it, if you're already freaked out and in this house? And
yeah, exactly, yeah.
And they replied, yes, but it's not really accessible unless you have a ladder handy. To add to the woo, the dog won't go upstairs. Normally when I hear weird noises upstairs, I send the dog up. She's refusing today. I mean, aside from the moral things about sending the dog up, which are, all right.
Yeah, but that's not immoral to send the dog,
Well, it is if there's a murderer in the house and you send the dog up to get killed first.
Yeah, but we're living in the world of ghosts. We're not living in the world of murderers.
Someone else has said, that's certainly very woo. I lived with a poltergeist for a while. He was friendly, though, so didn't frighten me. Does your one make you feel scared? So they're just immediately, it's a poltergeist, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, I like the fact, yeah. And what it was friendly, it come down, oh, the kettle on.
Yeah.
Thanks for the tea.
And they replied, it did for the first time last night when I went to bed. Normally I walk around the house in darkness, as I don't believe in ghosts. But last night, for the very first time, I got up to go to the landing and suddenly felt very uneasy, looked behind me, scrambled for the light switch, and that is not like me at all.
That is dead interesting.
Someone said, is it a terraced house or flat?
Terrorist?
Terraced.
Oh.
When I shared a student flat, you could crawl along the whole street via little doors in the eaves, like in The Magician's Nephew.
Oh my fucking god!
Funny idea. That's true. That like
I know. I've been in somebody else's attic.
Yeah,
doing that.
You can do it. But they've said no, it's a detached house. And someone said, well, how did you manage to get back into the living room that time with the side table in front of the door? Did it move back? They've said no, I shoved it out the way with the door, so she just literally had to push her way through. Someone said, isn't it more likely there's actually a fox cub in your house?
Well, that pushes tables against
doors.
No,
they're talking about the mat or something.
Oh, right.
Would explain the dog's anxiety as it could smell it and sense it. Do you have a cat flap? Said no cat flap. If there was any animal in the house, the dog would be going nuts. She's very prey driven. Someone else.
Religious, like. Sorry, it was a bad joke.
No. Someone else said, to me, this is not just woo, it's really worrying and would completely freak me out, make me panic, or worry that I was doing something without remembering. You're very calm considering it all. And they've replied, I think I'm calm because I don't really believe in woo, and if it is woo, it's not hurting anyone. I just wish I knew. Also, the fact that I have a big dog makes me less worried about the living kind of threat. So someone else has started suggesting spiritualist church. They've said if you feel uncomfortable, see if you've got a local spiritualist church or a vicar. Like, good luck. I'm lucky I've got a good stock of woo friends who'd be over like a shot with burning sage.
Why are they all using this word woo?
I know they do woo as if that's like the standard accepted term for the paranormal, aren't they?
There was also something there which was like, it said something like, I don't mind a bit of woo, but this is a bit much.
Yeah.
Or something, implying like, woo is all right.
Yeah.
Anything above woo, no.
Yeah.
And what's above woo?
I don't. They're just using it as a standard term, aren't they? But they've replied to that suggestion of getting a vicar in with, husband would never agree to any kind of action. It scares the shit out of him, and he'd rather pretend it isn't happening, despite having experienced things too.
There you go. And that's my argument about 90% of skeptics, is that they're actually afraid of things. They'd sooner say, doesn't happen, doesn't exist, no. Because if they say, can happen, it shatters them. It shatters the belief system.
Oh, poor fragile little skeptics. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I am. Standing by it too.
They've said it's kind of like a phase. Like nothing happens for months, then all of a sudden it does. And they've said things have been happening for the whole 10 years that they've been in the house, but it comes and goes.
I wonder what the cycle is. I wonder, could it be lunar? Could it be solstices? Could it be,
Good question. So anyway, that was our I came across that and I thought you might like it for Reddit Corner because it's not, some kind of overblown, deep, dark, scary story, but it was just someone who's genuinely like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, I really do like that. Well done. Thank you for doing some prior research.
You're welcome.
And thank you for also implying that the stories I bring you are some overblown paranormal piece of junk.
No, it just meant I didn't kind of bring some like dramatic story. You know what I mean? It was just, it was so it was so casual and everyday. Yes. I thought you would appreciate it.
I do appreciate that, yeah, and I appreciate that about stories. Well, I appreciate that in general about ghost stories. A good ghost story to me is, it's scarier for me if somebody says like that came in and like the rug was upside down.
Yeah.
That then. I came in and a cup was thrown at my face. It's like, no, one, that's less believable. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it is less believable. Two, something as weird as that, like a rug being upside down. It suggests an energy rather than a malice, though. But the interesting part is that she felt malice when she was going to the bathroom and felt the need to put the light on.
Yeah, because as well, there could be a million reasons for why the front mat's upside down. Like, I don't know, maybe someone, like maybe your husband trips or something as he's putting his shoes on, it flips or whatever. But that combined with the other mat being from the room it's normally in, like the annex, the boot room into the kitchen. Because if you were leaving the house and doing something with the mat, you'd normally just leave by one entrance, wouldn't you? You wouldn't come across both. And
the door being pushed, the table being pushed against a shut door.
That's not the same day, though.
Yeah, but I mean, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, in general.
Not being the same day. It's still absolutely terrifying. I mean, somebody was telling me something similar recently. A skeptical person that I know was telling me something about something being wedged up against a door.
Right.
That within a house, and they were like, I can't figure out how it got there. For the life of me, can't remember who it was. But they laughed it off. Do you know what I mean? It was within a group setting, and they laughed it off, and we moved on to something else immediately. Despite my attempts to get back to the topic. But
are you confusing that time? I got annoyed because our front door opens outwards, and people kept leaving delivery boxes right outside the door before I had a chance to get to the door. So they'd literally ring the bell, and I would be coming. Like, I've only lived in a tiny house, it's not taking me that long. But by the time I got there, they've just rang the bell and obviously just put the box straight down, and they've got off, and then I can't open the door because the box is right in front of it.
Yeah,
so I'm like shoving the boxes to open it.
Yeah, I mean, Gusto are terrible for that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just like, ding dong, throw your box and get off. And it's like, there's eggs in that, you bellend. That's what I seem to shout. They also have a habit of putting stuff that needs refrigerating in the non-refrigerated part of the box. But anyway, enough about that. Because you never know, they might come and sponsor the show. They'll be like, please don't listen to episode whatever this is. And they'll be like, we don't listen. I'll be like, okay. And that's how that Gusto chat went. So, anything else you want to add before we leave your beautiful corner?
No, I don't think so.
No? Much planned for the day?
No, not a huge amount.
There you go. That's what you like to hear, isn't it? Anyway, this is Monday, don't forget.
I don't like your tone.
Oh, I don't like your tone either. Anyway, but we're off to have an argument, so we'll leave you all here. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for visiting Becca's Reddit Corner. Does Mum's it?
Woo! Featuring Woo.
Featuring Woo.
Tatty bye.
Bye, guys.